What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yes. And we're gearing up for the Lions. It's going to be a tough game. We'll discuss all the ins and outs when you compare our defense versus their offense. Here at night on My Cowboys Family, of course, there's some roster moves, like a guy X'd off the team.
Injury updates, of course.
Always, yes, always important. So we'll talk about all this and more tonight, along with the discussion in the chat with the family. But first, as we get rolling into this thing, baby, rolling, we got to shout out those that make the thing go on here, round and round on MCF World. And that is our sponsor of the week, starting with him, the man from Hawaii,
Marco Seppian.
Yes.
A big mahalo to you, of course, and make sure to give a shout out there. Alonda Hanslu somehow still holding on to that stream boss with 10 points.
Yeah, there's a reason why she had 10,
though. We're almost
though.
Past that Dolphins game, right?
I know, we still have to hang on to that pain as long as Alonda is over there representing the stream boss. But give credit to Mr. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, pre-stream, dropping a $2 holler.
Ooh, and you know what he had to say?
I have a feeling I know.
Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. So again, he chopped it from Roger Staubach to Cooper Rush. That's where we're at with Alonda. So 10 away from taking that stream boss away from Alonda. So that, we got that going there. We got Snug X repping the crown in the Cash App. Much love to Snug. Always, you know why he's here. Aside from repping that star over everything, but we know why. And of course, if you look at the membership gifting side of things, the champion back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys, the man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan with 13 last week to corral that crown. Now, we talk about the leaders. Jason Renfro is currently leading on the membership gifting board, so much love to him. And when he had a full takeover on the lead, except for Alonda Hanslu's board. So he was the leader in the Cash App. He was the leader on the overall board. That has changed because last night on the After Dark MCF specials, we had Wire Light Soft games. He dropped 5 on it. He's on the board. We had Motor City adding a little bit more to it. And we hold on a second because we got Mr. Drums and Cowboys and more. Rolando Rodriguez getting membership in this thing, celebratory style, from the man who stays skeptical.
Skeptical fan.
Woo, much love to him. He's now that what he does there, I think he dropped 5 on it, right?
Yes, he did. 5
memberships gifted to you guys. We'll read them out in a minute, but I do want to say, as I was reading this, Motor City was in second place. And he had dropped another 5 on it in the Cash App last night. Also, Marissa Sparkle, one of our star-level members, dropped 20 in the Cash App.
Ooh.
So she has taken over the entire board till now. I'll explain in a minute. So, again, much love to Marissa Sparkle, who was in first place. Now it's going to be Skeptical Fan. But I will say, in the Cash App, Marissa Sparkle is in first place, currently atop the Cash App Queen board, if she takes it down. So appreciate you, Marissa. And again, we get the ladies representing Alonda, Marissa. But that's the battle going on right now. Jason got the lead, had the lead in the gifting membership side until Skeptical Fan took it over. Now with the 5 on it in stream, and with that, by the way, he also takes the lead, trying to go for a 3-peat on that board. On the overall board, Skeptical Fan also in the lead. With those 5 gifted memberships, that puts him over the top in first place, above Marissa Sparkle, who is currently in second, with Motor City in third and beyond. So I think everyone shouted out. A lot of things going on the screen and all over the place, so appreciate you all. Of course, there's super chats, as you saw, by Dwayne Broussard. Gifting memberships, you saw there, Skeptical Fan. There's membership. You can just jump in that at any of our 4 levels. And, of course, a thanks button. But there's 4 other ways you can mess with the Cash App side as well. How are those?
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
That still works. That does still work. So, it just, again, as a backup to everything. And again, on the nightly, we give out a shout-outs to the star and over everything level members. Never forget those guys. They represented here, so baby. Can you run them down for me real quick?
Huge shout out to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potch, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, the lunatic, and over everything, Seabass.
A double popper right there. Sports Productions, part of the family here with us. Thank you and welcome to the family. But also you had a Jason Renfro $10 holler as he took over. He's almost boxed out. Took over the stream boss. So there is a takeover still brewing there.
Perfect
with
timing
Jason.
there.
Yep, snuck it in there, although that new subscriber knocked him down to 99 points. So he's not fully loaded. But Jason Renfro with a $10 holler, and he officially is in second place on the board, just a hair in front of Marissa Sparkle on the overall board. But I think you ran down that. You called, shouted out. I think we shouted out all the names, right?
As far as all the names we needed to shout out, let me make sure to shout out the people. First of all, Skeptical Fan, thank you.
Yes.
Jumps and Cowboys, 808 Cowboy. We had Jalen, Rolando Rodriguez, and JD from DC.
Right,
all
those are the gifted
lucky gifted membership winners.
Boom.
And Jason Renfro with this $10 holler said, "Get out of here, Dolphins. Let's go, Cowboys."
There you go. He did that, knocking Alonda off the board.
And get that 6 and beyond.
Hell yeah.
Go Cowboys.
He knocked Alonda off the board. That's what we wanted to see. Thank you, Jason, for that. Move the 1-2 out of there. Or I say the 10 out of there. Appreciate you. Now, as I'm updating this board, though, I'm trying to find Skeptical Fan. I know he's on here. There he is. He was in third. He is in first. Jason in second. Marissa in third.
Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and keep doing the shout-outs here in the chat for everybody who's here, right? We have Hayes Skaggs. Hopefully I said that right. What's up? Bobby Bottles, much love to you. C. Bass in the house who said, sub or like if you took a shit today and it looked like a Lions fan.
I like that
there you
one.
Go. You heard it here first. Lost in Translation, much love to you. Motor City Maniac in the house. What's up?
Yeah, Motor. Lions fan. We have like
Sports Production said, sub if you hate the E-Girls. And that's an easy one. 88 Lamb Attack. What's up? We have Skeptical Fan, of course, always staying skeptical.
Yeah.
Dropping those kitty cat emojis. We have Drums and Cowboys, of course, in the house. Jason Renfro repping it. Much love. Snug X. You know why he's here.
You know it.
Stephen White, what's up? We got Bama Fan in the house. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Let me see. Stephen White representing. We have Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself. Mike Aldana, bye-bye Rashaan Evans. Yes, we'll definitely be talking about that. Bama Fan, what's up? We have, let me see, Daniel Berry Sports. C. Bass himself. What's up? Fuego bringing the heat. House Nelson in the house. Freedom First was actually first today. Good for you. So, let me see. So, with that said, of course, as everybody kind of rolls in here, I'll make sure to keep rolling with the little hellos and highs and the shout-outs and all that stuff. There's Jason. He said, hold up. I got to fully power myself up with that dollar holler that go Cowboys.
Now he's 100 on the board there. Much love to Jason. Second place still on the overall board, trailing Skeptical Fan on both big boards. The gifting board, he's trailing him by 4 gifted memberships, and he's trailing him here by like 17, I think, or 15 in the overall board right now. And again, congrats to Marissa Sparkle, who is the leader currently on the Cash App board. Jason, much love. He has corralled that stream boss away from the Dolphin fans. And hey, Jason Renfro dropping a little bit more here for a gifted membership.
Ooh.
Who's the lucky winner, baby?
That was Bama Fan.
Bam.
So congrats to you, Bama. Enjoy your awesome emojis there. And Jason Renfro, thank you for sharing the love and showing the love there. That gifted membership.
Yeah, that is now, the score is 5-2. We got a baseball game here, guys. Skeptical here with 5, Jason Renfro with 2 gifted memberships. And a field goal. Exactly. Exactly. Safety and a field goal, and the other one you got safety. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Anyways, as we roll on to this thing here, guys, let's start with some NFL news. The Green Bay Packers have suspended one of their best players, cornerback Jair Alexander, for 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team. And at first I was like, whatever, but I wanted to find out because it was kind of a strange situation. He wasn't supposed to be on the field for the coin toss when Green Bay, and the captains go on the field for the Panthers last weekend on Sunday, and he kind of crashed the 3 captains that they picked weekly like our guys are. They don't have seasonal captains, so they picked 3 captains. But Jair Alexander ran on there as the 4th guy. He joined the Packers' 3 captains, Aaron Jones, Quay Walker, and Eric Wilson, at midfield, called tails, and they won the coin toss. Alex Kemp, the referee, we've had him once, twice here. He asked for his choice. Alexander said the Packers wanted to be on defense, which technically speaking is not the same as deferring the coin toss, which means they would have to play defense. Basically giving the ball up in the first half and the second half. Yeah. That's what would happen. But the Alex Kemp, the official, kind of reiterated, hey, you sure you know what this means, blah, blah, blah. He kind of clarified it. He goes, oh, yeah, we want to make sure we defer then. So Alexander went out for the coin toss. And again, why he went out there was a mystery. The Packers don't have season-long captains. When they asked him on the field, like, did you know what you were doing? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I figured it was, he said it was suiting. I don't think the coach knew I was from Charlotte, so that's why I just ran on the field on my own and did it myself. He laughed. A bizarre chapter in the season for Jair Alexander. He's been healthy enough to practice for more than a month, but has not played since that November 5th shoulder injury. So this guy will be a free agent. He seems a little bit wacky. Got to keep tabs on that situation. Much love, by the way, to Calvin Richard dropping that 1-2. J. Lou. Dollar Holler taking Jason Redford down to 98 points. What did Calvin Richard have to say?
What do the Cowboys have against linebackers? I don't know, but it's whatever the opposite of the Midas touch is. That's what we have at linebacker, because it feels like every linebacker we get, we touch him and he turns to shit. Whether it's injury or just, again, we overestimated their skill level maybe. Yeah. Or, like you guys are, saying. Maybe the Cowboys do take it a little personal against some linebackers, but we'll be getting into that when we touch on.
It's definitely a strange situation, I have to admit. I also have to admit, though, that while it's strange, I just don't think that Rashaan Evans is what everybody thinks he is. Like, I think everyone thinks he's more than he really is. And I think that people are getting a little upset about the name than it is what I'm more concerned about, which is the depth. Which I think everybody, in the end, everybody then agrees, of course, depth is major. But I'm just saying, to me, it's much, I don't care about Rashaan Evans, the name. I care about linebacker, the depth.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger concern.
Rashaan Evans is the linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. But he obviously couldn't cut it there, at least on the 53. So the Cowboys, we'll talk about it, releasing him, but they're going to get him back. I'll explain all that very soon here on my Cowboys family.
Stay off the weed.
Much love, Calvin. Got him moved up into 5th place all by himself on that overall board. Now let me keep it rolling here, baby, because, of course, the Dolphin game. I got to visit it one more time here. Player of the week in the AFC for special teams is the kicker. For the Dolphins. I mean, well-earned and well-deserved. Jason Sanders, he had not a very good kicker. Even their own players said that on the Hard Knocks, but you can hear like he's having I haven't seen him have a game like this in a really long time. Great against us. Like I feared when I was reading his numbers and his 81% field goal percentage. Well, he's 100% against us. 16 points, 5 for 5 in field goals, 3 of them from 50 yards or farther. 1 for 1 on point after touchdowns, and he had that 29-yard game-winning field goal. I don't talk about that no more, but yeah, he's the special teams AFC player of the week. NFL news continuing here. 3 quarterbacks. This is crazy. I don't know how much you know about this, baby, but the Broncos are officially benching Russell Wilson for the final 2 games. But they're not doing it because of play on the field. He's a better quarterback, though Sean Payton doesn't really, I don't think he gives him the respect he probably deserves as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But either way, it's a similar situation as Jalen Smith a couple of years ago with us. There's a clause. They're doing this to preserve their financial flexibility for the offseason. So now Jarrett Stidham is the starter for the Broncos. Russell Wilson has $37 million in 2025 salary that basically is a vested, they must pay this by March 2024. And if he suffers a serious injury, it would complicate things because he would be guaranteed this money. The Broncos would then owe the $37 million more in cash and then record an $85 million another assessment in dead money. So, again, which would probably both these things would be spread over 2 years. But you're talking about $125 million over 2 years. You got to split up if they cut Russell Maryland at the end in the offseason because of an injury situation.
Russell
Wilson. I said Russell Maryland. That's Cowboy. But Russell Wilson, if he is cut, because or released because of an injury situation, then this is the damages are huge. So they cannot afford to have him get injured in one of these last 2 meaningless games, and then all of a sudden, he gets injured. He's guaranteed next year's contract, money, and the money that's still owed to him from rolling over in like voidable years, which is spread out. Now it'll be all due now. It's just the way his contract is made.
Yeah, it's one thing to basically pay the guy when he can actually play for you. very different to pay him when he gets hurt over what you already pointed out are meaningless games at this point.
And listen, I also know that, it's a business. I know Des Bryant's out there pissed off saying this is dirty. This is the way it is. Just like we say when an owner has to pay the player, even if they are injured or whatever, in these situations that happen, it's the contract. Same thing goes to Russell Wilson in this contract. So sorry, Des Bryant, it's the way it goes. You can't have the cake and eat it too. So the thing is this. It is a smart move for the Broncos to make sure, number one, he doesn't get injured, so I don't have to pay him that guaranteed money following year. And then I'm hearing that there's a good chance he may be cut in the offseason to save money before that certain date, that it vests his contract. So
you have to imagine that there's more than just, we don't want him to get hurt, right? Because if you're planning on having him in the future, I feel like a lot of teams would probably still risk it in an overall sense.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, they would.
But if you're getting ready to give him the big old chop, the last thing you want is to owe a guy money that's not even going to be on the team just because he, snubbed a toe in week 17.
Similar to what happened with us and Jalen Smith halfway through that year when we had Dan Quinn. He's like, if he gets hurt, we owe him next year's money on top of that. Yeah. And that's what we can't afford for Jalen Smith that we don't even need now.
And Skeptical Fan, I do believe that's what they'll end up doing, keeping him as the emergency quarterback.
Yeah, for these, he's officially the backup, is what they're listing him as. So if something happens to Stidham, then he comes in. Anyways, there's one quarterback story. Another quarterback story from the New York Giants. Very important because they play the Eagles in the final week. That could make a difference for us to get that second seed. The Giants are officially naming quarterback Tyrod Taylor as their starter on Sunday, which is a good move. That is the better quarterback than Tommy DeVito. So, again, Brian Dable says, Tommy DeVito is now the backup. He's on the bench. So, again, one of the best NFL quote-unquote stories out there. The rookie now, he held his own for a couple games. Now, the better quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, takes over, which means we have a better chance for an upset from the Giants at home against the Eagles Week 18.
Exactly.
Which we will need for the Cowboys to get that very important second seed. Of course, we got to win our 2 games. Anyways, Jason Renfro with the 253 dropping on me.
Woo.
What did the man say with that $2.53 holler?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Go Cowboys. Much love to Jason Renfro, as he's now, I think he's like 10 back. 10 away from getting, at least jumping over Skeptical on the overall board. And, of course, he is 3 back from tying him, 4 from jumping him in the gifted membership side. Jason Renfro is still trying to come up for that takeover. Much love, Jason, repping that navy blue, silver, and star over everything. So Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback now when they go face whoever they play this week and next week against Philly. So that's when we're going to hope Tyrod Taylor can pull out a victory against the Eagles. Another team, quarterback, NFC East, and our opponent in Week 18, the Commanders, they're making an official quarterback change now. With 2 games left, following his very impressive performance on Sunday, Jacoby Brissett, formerly of the Colts and many other teams, is now going to start against the Niners this week, giving them a better chance to beat the Niners. I guess you never really know, right? Ron Rivera,
whatever they had before.
Yeah, I mean, well, they had Sam Howell, who was the guy they said was better than everybody in the East, right? And yeah, no, I kind of figured let's wait and see, right? I don't think he's coming that direction. Well, they're benching him. Sam Howell is on the bench, the backup now. Jacoby Brissett is the starter. Ron Rivera announced that today. Case closed there for Sam Howell and being their savior. That didn't go too far. And so I'm just saying that's who we'll be facing, a better quarterback in that final game in Washington rather than Howell. We're going to be facing Brissett, who's a veteran, knows his shit, and will be a little more tougher, I think, than someone like Sam Howell, who can throw the ball but make mistakes. Now, I'll also say this. One last remember this guy released from the Cardinals, Mario Wilson, 4th-round cornerback who played very little, has the worst coverage grade on every Cardinal, and maybe every player in the league. Today was actually claimed off of waivers by the Patriots. So just throwing that out there in case you're wondering what happened to Marco Wilson. He is now a New England Patriot. Now, one last thing before we get deeper into our Cowboy news right now, some outside Cowboy news from the Hall of Fame. 15 finalists for the 2024 Pro Football Hall of Fame were announced today. Okay. It will be trimmed down to 5 during Super Bowl week. I'm pretty sure it's the 5 entries, I'm assuming. But the class of 24 finalists, cornerback Eric Allen from the Eagles, defensive edge rusher Jared Allen of the Vikings, offensive tackle Willie Anderson, offensive guard Jari David Evans. You got defensive edge rusher Dwight Freeney, tight end Antonio Gates, Safety Ronnie Harrison. Punt returner. Kickoff returner Devin Hester. Wide receiver Torrey Holt. Wide receiver Andre Johnson. Defensive edge Julius Peppers. Running back Fred Taylor. Wide receiver Reggie Wayne. Linebacker Patrick Willis. And safety of the Dallas Cowboys, Darren Woodson. Can we get this guy in this year, guys? Pro Football Hall of Fame announced Darren Woodson, who won 3 Super Bowls as part of our Cowboys of the 90s, that dynasty of the 90s. Woodson is a finalist once again for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, class of 2024. He was also a Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist last year. So this is his second straight year as a finalist. He's almost there. Come on. Darren Woodson, he got to be one of the 5 picked. He's got to be, in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of great names, but not as great as in other years. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think, come on, Woody, let's get him in there.
So you think just in general, since there's a weaker class, let's say.
There's a chance some of these other guys can get in next year. Saying later down, like the way Woodson was kept getting passed over every year, even though he has better stats than some of these guys that have already made it. So, just throwing that in there. I'm hoping Darren Woodson
You technically have to be drafted into the NFL Hall of Fame if you think about it a little bit. Not quite a draft, but...
Yeah, you got to kind of have the...
You have to be chosen.
Yes, and that's why it makes it special. Anyways, it's not just on numbers. It's about the feelings of your peers, right? So, anyways, the thing is, that will be decided Super Bowl week. Again, if the Cowboys in a Super Bowl, some miracle, I don't care a shit really at that moment about the Hall of Fame. But, of course, we want Woodson making it. Now, as far as the holiday celebrations, we got one more here, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. But, of course, Christmas just passed. And this past week, in Christmas Eve, this Dolphin game with the Cowboys, the best for the quote-unquote Fox America's Game of the Week since 1995. Incredible. With an average, we had an average of 31.5 plus million viewers. America's Game of the Week currently ranks as the most watched program in all of television. It's again the Cowboys. Now, look, excluding Thanksgiving Day, this is the season's most watched NFL telecast on any network. Up to it's a 13% increase from last year's Week 16 delivery of 27.8 viewers last year. And then America's Game of the Week currently ranks as the most watched program in all of television. Season to date, the package is averaging about 25 million viewers, which is overall up 2% from last year. Again, Fox is raking it in here when it comes to putting the Cowboys on. Remember, guys, most of our games are on Fox, and they always give us their number one crew there. So, now, what about power rankings? What do we say? Fuck the power rankings. You know it. But hey, we're going to go down the rankings for the opinion heads out there. So when you look at NFL.com and other places, they got us at 5 to 8th or 3 to 6th. It's not. Who cares? Who cares about these drops? ESPN had us at 3. They put us at 6. USA Today had us at 7. They dropped us in the top 10 there at 10th. Yahoo put us from 4 to 5 on this drop. We went from CBS Sports 8 to 9. At The Athletic had us from 5. They dropped us to 6th. And Sports Illustrated from 5th to 7th. There you go, guys. Fuck the power rankings. The only power ranking that matters is who's holding up that one team that's holding up that trophy at the end of the year. That's the only ranking that matters. Now, let's get into Cowboy football news here right now. I know there's a lot of people in the house hitting that like, hitting subscribe, and hitting that bell. Now tell us what the hell you think is going on with the Cowboys in their heads. I have an idea when it comes to what their move was today of releasing linebacker Rashaan Evans, number 32.
So real quick, I didn't want to take a second. Just do some more quick shout-outs in
right.
the chat.
We'll let that simmer. So, we'll let it simmer. Let's hit the shout-outs. I'll give you the lowdown of what went down, why, and what happened with the cutting and releasing of Rashaan Evans.
And then hopefully I'm saying this right. So Drakuzua, the whole Micah being held penalty situation, realistically speaking, I don't think there is a way past that other than, I don't know, give Micah Parsons bionic arms and legs. Right?
I think Micah hit it on the head today when you hear him speak.
Fuego. I don't think I've heard of those cards specifically, just on that out there. MB in the house, what's up? Rolling back a little bit there. Thomas Garrett saying Woody gets in this time. Mike Aldana saying Woody needs that Hall of Fame nod.
I agree. He deserves it.
Modius Much Love saying Russell Wilson's on the verge of becoming a backup QB, but he made his money. So exactly why you see
and he got
the Broncos trying to delicately extract themselves from that money. So, no, I just want to make sure I touch on that. So, and Revelation journalist, by the way, saying that it's all about Micah Parsons being extended as a linebacker, not an edge rusher. There's some little money emojis there.
If you want to get again, that'd be something Micah would fight all the way to the end if the Cowboys move him there. Yeah,
highly unfair of the Cowboys to try and do something like that.
I mean, they can try, but Micah will still say, "No, I don't care. I'm an edge." He's listed in the Pro Bowl as a linebacker, though. So you see where they're getting him.
I know it's a slightly tricky situation there. So Napoleon Bonaparte, what's up, Brandon James? So all right, so now let's officially hear what did the Cowboys do exactly with Rashaan Evans?
Yeah. So today, guys, first and foremost, we released Rashaan Evans from the team, giving us an extra spot open. Why is that spot open? We got two guys, Junior Fehoko, the rookie, defensive tackle, who's on the 21-day injury window. And we also had Matt Waletzko, offensive lineman, tackle. It's important because Adoga had a bad game. So Matt Waletzko has been officially activated off of the injured reserve onto our 53-man roster. He takes the spot of number 32 linebacker Rashaan Evans. So, that I can see why that makes sense to an extent when it comes to Waletzko. And you look at the fact that he can maybe provide a better option than Adoga, possibly. Is that I'm asking? I don't know. Covering for Tyron Smith, that'd be an improvement. That you'd understand why they make that move. But let's just continue. Okay, I understand that side of the move, but why release a guy that you only have 3 total linebackers on your 50? You have 3 guys, now you have 2 guys as linebackers, unless you add Micah. Now you have 3 again, as that are listed as linebackers. So Rashaan Evans was the guy who was lost out in this situation. He was released to clear space out for Waletzko. Remember, Waletzko had been practicing the last 3 weeks, and his numbers were, he's going to have to be put onto the team, or he's going to have to be miss the rest of the year if he was not put back on the off of rigid reserve. Fehoko might miss the whole year, the rest of the year, because he might not have a spot on the 53-man roster. Either way, though, why was he released? Well, weed. Now, that's just, listen, I'm going to be real. That's not what happened necessarily is the reason why he was released. But, yes, earlier on yesterday, Cowboys linebacker Rashaan Evans was arrested on possession of marijuana. So he was charged with marijuana, possession of marijuana, and he had between 2 to 4 ounces of weed, according to the Frisco Police, Texas Police Department. So, again, when it comes back to the Cowboys side, why did they release him? A Cowboys official downplayed the timing of his arrest on Tuesday for marijuana possession to its relation to him being waived and cut today. So they're saying it had nothing. One had nothing to do with the other.
That just happens to be an unfortunate coincidence and not necessarily a motivating factor behind their decision.
Right. The Cowboys officially said that there were various factors involved in this. The Cowboys needed an extra spot for Matt Waletzko was one of them, and Evans is of course a candidate for the practice squad if he clears. Remember, guys, go back a little bit. We had Rashaan Evans on our practice squad. We couldn't use him anymore unless we signed him to the 53. We signed him to the 53, and he played a couple games, whatever it may be. Then we released him now. If we get him back in the practice squad, he's eligible for 3 more games. So he'll be our guy once again there before we get, because you have to cut him and re-sign him again to be able to play for you. So the thing is this, a lot of people are mad because, Rashaan Evans, he's our savior. No, he was never going to be that. It's obvious. Rashaan Evans, he played 15 snaps in the last 4 games combined. 15 snaps. He did not see a snap against the Miami Dolphins at all, and had the lowest run defensive grade of any Dallas Cowboy linebacker. And I don't understand why the fan base is going crazy because of the name Rashaan Evans. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, I can
at all.
Like we said, I can understand for the position or whatever, but it seems like a lot of people, haven't been looking at what he's actually done for us right now. Just hear Rashaan Evans and assume that he's contributing, I guess, more than he actually is. Yeah. I don't know. At least that's the only assumption I can make that makes sense.
Yeah, and again, remember we talked about this a little yesterday about guys like what's the receiver that we haven't used yet?
Martavius
Bryant? Yeah, he's our savior, and guys like like, Rashaan Evans, that the front office pumps up for the fans to kind of feel like these are the saviors. And when they don't end up being that, which they won't, they use 99% of the time they won't, then the fans lose their fucking minds. So as far as Rashaan Evans, I believe not one team is gonna make a waiver claim for him. I believe he'll probably go through waivers, and I'm assuming that the Cowboys are gonna sign him back to the practice squad. Whatever the marijuana fucking situation is with the NFL, that'll be dealt with next year. He ain't missing games because of that.
Yeah.
So we'll get this linebacker back on the team. We should get him back. My thought is the Cowboys are saying themselves that they would like to get him back on the practice squad. So don't lose your minds. Your precious Rashaan Evans will be back in the Cowboys tomorrow. He should be. When you look at the numbers, though, guys, is there really a big need to have him on here? It's not the end of the world if we don't. The biggest thing is that he knows the system a little bit now. He's been working with the players, and he's our third actual linebacker. Fourth if you include Micah in the linebacker crew. To me, though, you're all missing the bigger picture here, guys, because I don't know what we'll do if we only have Marquise Bell and Damone Clark as our only true linebackers with Micah Parsons. Then we're going to be forced to use Micah Parsons at linebacker more often because there's not going to be anyone that can really do it. No matter how many J-Ron Curses or Donovan Wilsons at safety you throw down in the mix, they're not going to be this. We're going to be overrun and being run on by every team, especially this week. We'll talk about their offense in a little bit. The Lions, they are one of the best running teams in the NFL. So we got to have some run-stopping linebackers in here, and that's what everyone thinks Rashaan Evans is. I don't think he has been that this year. He's not done that well at all this year as a run-stopping linebacker. But he will probably be on our practice squad and probably be elevated the last 2 times of the season.
Now, I
to our active day roster.
I have to agree with Choice Roberts, Griff 181, these people here. Actually, I take that back. Sorry, Griff 181 saying, forget the name. We need Evans for the depth.
So here's, and again, Griff, here's the thing. The Cowboys are willing to risk this loss of him because the depth is shitty when it comes to Rashaan Evans. I'm just being honest. The depth is...
He doesn't necessarily make or break that depth, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's not... The Cowboys feel good about other guys that could probably pick up that can do the same stuff Rashaan Evans has done. Now, I also want to... There's a couple things I want to bring up here. Number one, here's the thing, Griff, and everybody else listening. Our third, outside of Micah Parsons, and the starters at linebacker, which are Damone Clark and Marquise Bell, our next guy, and it will be for the playoffs this way, our next best linebacker is Malik Jefferson, not Rashaan Evans. Malik Jefferson might be eventually signed to the 53, so we can maybe he'll be getting the games in there if we really make a move or move something around in our roster, because Malik Jefferson would probably be moved into that spot eventually if they need to do that. But he's still on our practice squad, Malik Jefferson. And Malik Jefferson is a better player than Rashaan Evans for this defense. Now, that's probably our depth will be, right now we still need another guy. I agree 100% with Griff. Forget about the name. We need depth. And that's why for the playoffs, it'll be Malik Jefferson. But who is it going to be now? Well, it's going to be Rashaan Evans. Because we're going to probably pick him up tomorrow and put him on our practice squad, making him, again, re-eligible for 3 more games, which, of course, we have 2 left, which makes him eligible to be our elevated game day, one of the 2 elevated practice squad players for the game day rosters. So keep that in mind. Probably doesn't change any, unless someone swipes him from us, which I doubt. No one's going to go after a guy who's played 15 snaps in 4 games. No one's going to take a waiver claim out on him. So assuming that happens, he's going to fly right back to our Cowboys. He'll be practice squad elevation. He gets 3 more of those. And then Malik Jefferson, when the playoffs start, both guys reset their elevations. And then we get Malik Jefferson as our true linebacker backup depth. Malik Jefferson is our backup. Now, will we make any other moves? Possibly. I'm not sure. I want to go back to a couple names, though, you guys might be familiar with. Since, again, Malik Jefferson is one people forgot about. Mm-hmm. And, again, we can still sign him to the 53. But Malik Jefferson, to me, is the next best guy, even better than Rashaan Evans. What about Jabril Cox? We let him go, remember? Mm-hmm. He signed in Washington with the Commanders. And he's been active a lot, an active player on their roster. But he has not had one single snap this year with the Washington Commanders. So okay. Jabril Cox hasn't even played this year for Washington. So the Cowboys cut out a linebacker who some fans think would have helped us right now. He hasn't had one snap anywhere in the NFL. Jabril Cox.
Yeah, so he's obviously not exactly contributing anywhere.
What about another name? Devin Harper, our 6th-round pick a couple years ago, right? Another name that was a mistake to cut him. You guys have said it as well. Devin Harper. picked up by the Bengals, Cincinnati. Cincinnati ranks 28th in the NFL in run defense. Mm-hmm. Harper has played one defensive snap. One. So we got a total of Jabril Cox with none and Devin Harper with one. One snap between both these guys are the rest of the league for the rest of the year, this year. And those guys are going to step in and add depth. Guys, those guys were guys that obviously deserve to be cut. I was wrong about Jabril Cox. But I'm just saying, that side of things, you got to give the Cowboys I wish they would have gotten better linebackers. I wish they could have maybe signed another solid couple inside guys. We lost LVE, Overshown. But my point is, we have no depth. But these other guys that people would say, Jabril Cox or Devin Harper, they suck. They suck for depth. And Rashaan Evans is a practice squad depth guy. Malik Jefferson is the best guy we have left in the roster, and he's only can be used for the playoffs if we don't sign him through the 53. So, again, I would like to know your thoughts, baby. I'd like to know the family's thoughts in the chat about this move and my thoughts. I want you to tell me about my thoughts about the movement of Malik Jefferson for the playoffs or 53, but also the fact that Rashaan Evans is going to come back to our practice squad tomorrow, and he'll be elevated for games. Zach Luna, by the way, in the house, came in by a hair into second place last week. Much love to Zach Luna with that 5 on it.
Woo.
Taking Jason Renfro to 95 points in the stream, boss. What did Mr. Zach Luna say?
He said, shoot, just put me in at linebacker. Sure, I need to lose a few pounds, but I still got that dog in me.
Hey, it's better than some of our other players there. They got a little less dog in than you do there, Zach. So much love. And I hear you. We got no linebackers now. You know, we had 3. Now we're down to we had 4.
Yeah.
If you had Micah, we are 3 on our 53, which Micah is one of them who plays 90% edge. So we have 2 actual linebackers, on the field and no backup, no depth until we get Rashaan Evans back, and he'll be our third depth linebacker there. And
yeah,
again,
I have to
Malik
admit,
Jefferson
I'm not
for the
all
playoffs.
that concerned about the situation just because, like you said, it's not like it inherently changes the fact that our linebacker position is already weak and we have no depth. Like we're basically more or less exactly where we started. So again, just feels like you said, like an administrative clerical type of move just to make sure that we can bring back Rashaan Evans.
To a practice squad.
Mm-hmm. So, but really more than that, I mean, again, if you really think Rashaan Evans was going to somehow save our defense or save our season,
No, but the depth. So now the question comes to this. Here's what I'm saying.
I mean, but my whole point is talking about the depth is, sure, obviously, you can't deny that he's another physical body there to help play linebacker if/when someone else goes down or just a rotational play or however you do it. But like you said, he had 15 snaps in 4 games. It's not like he was
an integral part of the
contributing
defense
in any significant fashion. That could easily, like, if Micah gets 15 more linebacker snaps in 4 games, that's fine.
If that's what they're planning to do it with.
Yeah, it comes out to like 3 more snaps a game.
That's the thing. Do you need, can Micah just go and do that? Do we even need to replace him? Micah seems like that's a good point. Micah's a great replacement for those 3 snaps a game you're missing, right? And then, and again, like I said, baby, guess what's good? The probability, there's like a 99% chance that he's going to be the elevated linebacker from the practice squad this weekend against the Lions. So when you ask me, some of you guys are asking, we need the depth. How do you feel about having Rashaan Evans as depth? Because that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You got let's go on for offensive line depth, and you're going to get your linebacker back. Should be getting, again, if someone takes him, someone takes him. But the plan for the Cowboys is they'll get him back when he goes through waivers, and then there's our depth again. He's the same player.
Yeah, and Mike, you're not stupid for thinking or hoping or wishing. Saying, I seriously thought he was actually going to contribute from the linebacker position. Yeah. I think a lot of us had, like I said, higher expectations him going forward or heading into things when we first started. Like, no one thought he was going to go out there and somehow take over, but be a contributing piece, a contributing factor.
Much more than he has been. I thought he did an okay job. When you look at the numbers, not that good of a job. But I also thought that, Jabril Cox was going to be a fantastic linebacker steal for us in the 4th round, and he's a bust. Like I just said, over in Washington, he hasn't had 1 snap on defense. Devin Harper has 1 snap for the Bengals on defense. I mean, those were our depth guys that we cut. They have 1 snap. I mean, Rashaan Evans has more snaps than that. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have any snaps this last game against Miami. So there was no no real viewpoint for him to stay on the team if he's not even going to have snaps. Now, I do agree with you need him to step in there as a linebacker for depth. He'll be the elevated linebacker. He'll be one of the elevated players. You guys, I hope they understand that he'll be the guy that they move up the Cowboys to the game day roster when he goes through waivers and when the Cowboys re-sign him to the practice squad for depth at linebacker. So that nothing has changed. We just have him instead on the 53. We have him on our practice squad to be moved up for game day.
And Fuego, take it easy. Much love. Have a safe drive back home. Just throwing that out there. Pioneer saying, fortunately for us, Eagles are massively underperforming this season.
Yeah. I mean, keep it going. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, again, he also threw out there, thank you. We are right back to where we started after last season.
Well, I meant were we right back where we started?
No, I meant at the linebacker position. Remember I mentioned that earlier?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, without LVE and Overshone, that really puts a hole in our linebacking spot. We're not the same as we were last year, but what I'm trying to say is we're the same way we were last week at linebacker. Still weak at linebacker. We didn't add anybody. We were just moving a guy from the 53 to the practice squad. That's basically what we're doing here with this move for Rashaan Evans. Don't fear, guys. We're fine. Same guys on the team. If you felt like we were okay enough before, there's nothing to get upset about it now. Because we are going to have Rashaan Evans probably wearing number 32 probably this week against Detroit on Saturday night on the sideline as our elevated practice squad player.
And there you go.
So you got it. Now, these questions were also asked to the mighty Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy spoke today, guys, and the first things he was asked upon was about this and about the situation going on with Rashaan Evans and why did we release him. So I just want to say one thing before we even get into what McCarthy said. Mike McCarthy, he had one season at Green Bay where McCarthy only won 3 road games. Only had 3 wins on the road in that year. Won every game on the road during the playoffs in that same year. And then won the Super Bowl. 2010. So does that make you feel differently about maybe what McCarthy can do to help this team?
We all know it's not completely hopeless, but like I said, the way that things are going so far, it's not like it exactly inspires.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is hope. McCarthy has done it before like this.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So anyways, McCarthy today, when he was asked about Rashaan Evans not working out with the Cowboys, again, we cut him today, veteran linebacker Rashaan Evans. What did McCarthy say about that question about Evans and what the plan is going forward?
We'll answer that at the end of the week. I think that's important to be answered then. These are roster moves, and they're tough moves. It's a bit of a catch-22. We're a healthy football team, and we hope it stays that way. But when you get down to this time of year, you start to project, particularly with young players, this is why you have to make some tough decisions like this. So this really stems from being healthy. Also, the tackle position, and we felt that the depth with Wally, Matt Willetsko, would be beneficial.
So you got the answer, right? I mean, basically, number one, they were looking forward to getting offensive line depth with Willetsko being healthy now. And Rashaan Evans, it's nothing wrong with him. He's not that good, but this is a clerical move. This is a move because he just said, we are too healthy almost. So we can't put somebody on IR.
They can't, usually in situations like this, teams will stash a player or do all sorts of those kinds of behind-the-scenes moves. Because remember, it's not like we want to see him completely gone and never come back. We just have to make the appropriate roster moves to keep everybody on here.
Right. Because there is no injury, like McCarthy said, there's no way of moving a guy to IR and then getting Willetsko back onto the team that way, right? So you have to actually cut someone and then get him back on the practice squad. That's why McCarthy's not talking about it. Because he doesn't want to give up too much information, but basically they expect him back in the practice squad to be elevated and playing against Detroit this weekend. I'm telling you that. We'll see what happens. But I just want all those that are freaking out, calm down. We're going to be all right. We're going to have, Rashaan Evans back there.
Yeah, that's why McCarthy doesn't want to talk about it till the end of the week. So he can just say, he's right there.
That's when by then the Cowboys should have him back on the team. So anyways, McCarthy also said this today, as far as these moves are concerned, quote, these are really conversations that have been going on for several weeks. We do feel that Wally is ready to go. And so this is just basically, that they've been talking about when is the right time to move Let's Go into the offensive line rotation. After seeing Chuma Edoga's performance, they said right now. They felt that was more important than linebacker depth at this moment, especially the depth you provided with Let's Go, which they see something bigger in him than Rashaan Evans, who they don't see much use for him at that linebacker spot, even as depth. They'd rather just take the roll of dice and get him back on the practice squad, elevate him to the game through that direction. He also believes that the O-line depth is of extreme importance, and they believe that he has maximized his opportunities for Let's Go in the weight room while he's been on IR. Now, as far as Rashaan Evans in the cut, McCarthy again said, quote, "It was a tough move when the roster is healthy." So, any other thoughts on that? I think we covered everything on the cut and the reason why we released Rashaan Evans and the expectation that he'll be back with us towards the end of the week. So.
Exactly. So, all of Mike Aldana throughout their revolving door at the linebacker position. And yeah, again, between...
Right back on, though.
Yeah, between just actual, roster moves and injury situation. Like I said, our luck at linebacker has been absolute shit the last few years.
Yeah, the depth
I barely count Micah in that category
exactly.
Just because, let's be real, he designated a linebacker on paper, and he never really contributed to the linebacker position. Pretty much since the second we started playing him. So, Seabass saying, MCF, I hear what you're saying, but I also have my reservations. I do not like that Dan Quinn will only make adjustments in the second half of each game. So hearing this from you about McCarthy is just aggravating.
Again, I hate to say only he'll never do it. He wants to wait on that. It's a strategic thing. I don't hate that. But I do think the Cowboys have to maybe make other adjustments, like maybe practice blitzing more or something, because not all the time you're going to get through there with your front four. This week, against the Lions, a top 5 pass protection group there on the offensive line, work's cut out for the defense. We'll talk more about that, though, here tonight.
So my boy Evans was just self-medicating. Hey,
with some weed.
Trust me, no one is more pro-ganja when it comes to NFL players and the weird NFL rules that they've always had than us. But this actually has more to do with the great state of Texas than any NFL policies, considering the NFL actually adjusted their marijuana policies. And now we're good and pretty much free and clear.
Yeah, he's not really in trouble with the NFL. He's just more in trouble with with the legal system
the
state of Texas.
Because in Texas, the ganja is no bueno.
Yeah, it's still
very heavily penalized.
Very heavily and frowned. It's so stupid. Texas, get your shit fixed when it comes to that. Now, McCarthy also, moving on from that part of things, Rashaan Evans, he'll be back tomorrow. That's my guess, or the next day, by the end of the week, like McCarthy said. But McCarthy also spoke very highly of quarterback Dak Prescott. He said, quote, "I think he's definitely playoff ready." So, again, I don't know if they heard me. But he said definitely playoff ready for Dak Prescott. So, McCarthy believes that he's almost like, he wished the almost playoffs would start today in a way, right? Now, when it comes,
both, buddy.
Yeah, but again, we got to. If it started today, we'd be 5th seed. That sucks. So we got two weeks to try to get lucky, win our own games, and see if the Eagles trip up once to the Cardinals or the Giants in the final week. So again, this practice day today, guys, after McCarthy spoke, practice was open, and basically because of wind, the quarterbacks went inside to the Ford Center to throw the ball and do some stuff there. There were no. By the way, also that hitting machine where it has all those linebacker faces on the machine, and you see the players offensively, whether it's tight ends or running backs going through that machine. Their faces are plastered on there, like to remind you, here they come, that cute shit they did it the last 2 weeks. No opponent faces this time against the Lions, who not a divisional game.
Basically trying something a little different.
Yeah, I think a 2-game losing streak ended that bullshit. Let me just put that out there. I think the two losses doing the same thing, superstitious-wise, whatever, end that stuff. It didn't seem to be working anyways.
I agree.
Now, on the field, I will say this. Again, a guy we always want to see there being healthy. Yesterday, he got a rest day, and he was out there again with his helmet on. Stephon Gilmore on the practice field. That's important. After suffering, again, initially a more severe rib injury, was only on the on the injured list yesterday, practice list, because he didn't practice because of a rest day. No injury, though, is what they're claiming. And, so that's the practice look today. Now, what about the actual practice report? When you look at this here, you have Malik Hooker, who was, I'm sorry, not Malik Hooker, but Stephon Gilmore, taken off the list completely. So Stephon Gilmore just got a rest day, and he's not hurt. The rib is fine. Everything is good to go. That's great news there when it comes to him. Now, what about the other guys on this list? Rico Dowdle, here's an issue. Downgraded. He was downgraded from basically limited yesterday. Now he did not practice today. So that, to me, is an issue with the running game.
Trending negatively is not something you want to see at this point.
Yeah, when it comes to injury-wise, Rico Dowdle, on the day you hit more, he's not in there. He's not, not in the practice today.
Maybe it is more of a, to play a devil's advocate, maybe in a more positive light. Maybe it is more of a, like you said, like a management thing.
That's the thing. The Cowboys haven't done this in a while with him. He's basically been limited in every practice, never out for a practice. So something to keep an eye on. And also, Malik Davis, running back, pretty sure that he has all his three elevations are done. So we'd have to make Deuce Vaughn active this game, possibly.
So another one of those tricky contract situations.
Well, yeah, like roster spot situations. So Rico Dowdle downgraded from limited to did not practice with this ankle issue he's been battling for the last 2 months. We also had Chuma Edoga with a toe injury pop up today, new toe injury, limited in practice. We have to see what that does going forward. Fehoko, of course, Philemi Fehoko, he's fine, but he's not been activated yet. Well, let's go. He's officially on the team, full practice. He's going to be in pads and playing this weekend, should be. And then you have guys like Malik Hooker and Hunter Lipke, who yesterday were both limited with their injuries. Today were full practice. So Hunter Lipke good to go. And great news to see Malik Hooker full practice, ready to go as well for him. Today, Zach Martin, we saw him yesterday with a limited day resting. Today he had also a rest day, but didn't practice at all. So he had the whole day off for Zach Martin. And again, Tyron Smith, no change for him. Almost as expected with the back injury. Did not practice yesterday, did not practice today. This would be the probable situation for him anyways, but with the back injury, them trying to get a shot in his back and get him on the field this game here on Saturday, he's definitely not going to practice this week. I'm looking here again, Jonathan Hankins also did not practice today, which we expect him to miss this game. He still could play according to McCarthy, but my mind, the way they've been talking about him, it sounds like he's going to miss this game, unfortunately. So that's the rundown of all of our players. Chuma Edoga was added to it, the toe with the limited play there. A couple of guys like Malik Hooker, Hunter Lipke were upgraded to full practice. Unfortunately, Rico Dowdle was downgraded to no practice. And the rest of the guys pretty much are either already going to be out, like Hankins, look like they're going to be out, or, progress in where they're supposed to be or progressing to play. So that's the update there when it comes to our own injury situation. Now, I don't know if anybody has any quick thoughts on that, but I know we had some players speak after practice.
Seabass said, I trust more of Tyron not practicing than I do of him actually practicing.
I'm with you. I agree, and that's why McCarthy's doing that.
So, what's up, Antoine Scott? It is a tough crowd tonight. Hey, when the Cowboys are out there, taking back-to-back L's, I can understand why it's a rough time to be a Cowboy fan, right?
Yeah, well, listen. The true fans stick it out and rep that star over everything, no matter anything. So, yeah, that's what it is. Now,
although I have to admit, McCarthy's whole pushing of, playing December football, my left ass cheek, McCarthy. Back to you, baby. So,
no, actually back to you, because Dak Prescott, after practice, showed up and got interviewed and said some interesting stuff here. I'm going to let you kick it off, baby. I know Snug X is in the house. He wants to hear what you got to say, or at least what you got to say from Dak Prescott's point of view of things. Today, they asked him about being in his 8th year and understanding that these opportunities to make a deep playoff run does not happen very often, or you don't really get a chance to have this happen. So what did Dak say about that?
Now I'm the veteran player telling the young guys that. Me and some of these other guys that have been here, one, just the turnover. There's 3 guys that have been here longer than me in DeMarcus, Zach, and Tyron. 1, just the turnover. And then 2, after my rookie year, the way that, wild phantom of a year that it was, thinking, hell, this is easy. This is what the rest is going to be like. So again, that young naivete thinking, we're going to make it to the playoffs every year. We're going to be this good all the time.
We're going to have that home field advantage and get that first round bye every year. That's what happened in his rookie year, and we blew it that first game against the Packers. So, anyways, what else do you say?
To be sitting here now in year 8, understanding that you don't have these teams, you don't have these opportunities as often as you'd think. I know we're all confident, believing in ourselves. We've got a special group right now. Things are laying up for us in the right way, and we've got to make sure we hold ourselves accountable, create some good momentum, be disciplined, and just really lock into these things and make the sacrifices, because what we want is in front of us. So we've got to make sure that these young guys understand that. It starts with us as the older guys, the vets in the locker room, and make sure that we take advantage of it.
There you go. That's just plain and simple, Dak being a leader in year 8. So again, my big issue with the Cowboys sometimes has to do with the mindset and the passion, but not even the passion. To me, it's the taking things personal, knowing that every team wants to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. That is their Super Bowl. They take it personal. We don't seem to take it as personal. What did Dak say about the Cowboys' mindset after losing back-to-back games?
Pissed for sure. But resilient, I guess, to answer that. And understanding that one was close. It got away from us. Obviously on the road, it could have been a good one, particularly saying the road right against a playoff team. And it just didn't get it done. But it's just been about, for everybody to be accountable, look themselves in the mirror, and say, what more can I do individually? And understanding if we do that, commit to that collectively. We'll continue to get better and we'll get over this, no doubt about it.
That's the hope.
So, and if there's more that he personally can do, right? So he's talking about the whole team. Like, what about you personally, Dak Prescott? He said, oh yeah, for sure. I'd have to go back and take you through each play for the most part, and even on good plays. There's things I felt that I could do better. That's kind of the way I've always been. I know numbers. I know things kind of say I'm playing well and that. But to me, a quarterback's judged off wins and losses. So if it's a loss, I could have done more one way or another, trying to make a play here or there, getting out of trouble here or there, whatever it may be. I'm going to continue to critique my game that way.
All right. I mean, just keep improving, Dak. He has that quote-unquote MVP type year. He's got still a way to go, I think. And more importantly, got to get a Super Bowl under that belt, in my opinion. So, Dak also wanted to, kind of finish up. I know he finished up his comments there with another statement.
Yeah, he added in there that we credit the schedule that we have here, but in the same sense, we've got to do more. That's looking yourself in the mirror and being accountable. We know where we want to go, and right now we've got 2 more weeks that are promised. Then after that, we've got to sacrifice. So we got to be willing to sacrifice now, understanding that we should be playing with our backs against the wall mentality right now to get ourselves ready.
I really hope they realize this, because it shouldn't be this that takes them to this point.
Yeah,
to realize they got to play to the back, walls to the back to the wall type football. I mean, they should have had. Why not have this a little earlier in this mindset? I don't know. I guess I'm being an asshole. Either way.
I don't think so necessarily.
Yeah. Either way, Dak Prescott, when you look at some of the stuff that went down in this game and take a look at that 8-yard touchdown pass that he had to Brandon Cooks. It was a tight pass in the corner to take the lead in the end of the game.
Yeah.
That counted as a tight window completion for Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Against the Dolphins specifically, Dak threw a season-high 6 tight window completions. That's the most he's had in a game since Week 13 of 2021. And when you add it all up, Dak was 6 out of 10 for 79 yards and a touchdown when throwing into tight windows. I mean, you got to be real accurate and do that kind of stuff.
That's not bad. It really sucks
that some
of these kind of very solid stats are coming out of such a shitty overall team performance.
I agree.
In that way.
But that shows you,
like I said,
how good the Dolphins defense was playing, right?
Oh, yeah. Again, I think it's easy to kind of forget that, considering it felt like, death by 1,000 paper cuts with all the little mistakes and shit like that we were making, right?
Agree. When you look at our offense, The Cowboys, Dak Prescott, have thrown 30 passing touchdowns this year. That is the most in the NFL. And as we take a look at this next game against the Lions defense has allowed 24 passing touchdowns this season. That's the 6th most in the NFL. So, yeah, when you look at us throwing the ball here with Dak, this is one of the keys coming up for tomorrow, and Friday. We talk about our offense, our Texas Coast versus their defense, the Detroit D. They allow a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns in the air passing. We do our damage mainly in the air passing. So this is one of those things that should go our way when you look at the obvious comparison of their defense versus our offense. We'll look at that a little bit more tomorrow. I do want to say one last thing to that Brandon Cooks comment. And he got a play there. You're not seeing enough of Brandon Cooks on the road. At home, yes. On the road, no. But what about Michael Gallup? Real quick. Judging a player on their 2023 cap number is obviously not an accurate thing to do. So I'm not going to sit here and say a guy should do better or worse because of his cap. But because of his cap hit or how much he's getting paid. But, baby, Michael Gallup has the 8th highest cap hit for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And there's been 9 games where he's had 20 or less yards. Is that really worthy for a guy who's the 8th highest cap hit on your team? You know what I mean? That's a Michael Gallup's a big mistake.
That's barely worth the 4 for 4 for Wendy's. Just throwing that out there.
There you go. So, you got my input there. Again, I don't think that's all on Dak. That's on Gallup. And never having really separation, not even less after the injury, which the Cowboys paid him off of. Stupid Cowboys.
No, I absolutely see Michael Gallup ending up in a situation where another team snatches him up. He ends up contributing. Obviously not as much as he ever contributed in some of his better days and stuff like that, but definitely more than whatever the heck he's doing this year. Yeah. And that'll be that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see another case of a player moving on from us and looking better than they did with us.
Listen, that's the usual story with anybody who leaves us. When you look at CeeDee Lamb, he hopefully is not leaving us anytime soon. Again, I want to reiterate, most receptions in a season by a Cowboy player, Michael Irvin in 1995. 111 catches.
Okay.
Jason Witten in 2012, 110 catches. CeeDee Lamb in 2022, 107 catches.
Oh, damn.
This year, 109 catches for CeeDee Lamb. So he's already broken his best ever. He needs 1 catch to tie Jason Witten, 2 catches to tie Michael Irvin, 3 catches to break all the records for the most catches, receptions in a single season by any running back, receiver, tight end, most catches in a season. 111. He's 3 away from breaking that record. That should happen this weekend. Now, what about most receiving yards in a season by a Cowboys player? Michael Irvin had 1,603 yards in 95. That's number 1 in our history. Number 2 is also Michael Irvin in 91. He had 1,523 yards receiving. And CeeDee Lamb right now in 2023, 1,424 yards receiving. So again, he's about 99 yards from tying the second best Michael Irvin, in our history, our performance by any receiver. It happens to be Michael Irvin's number 2. And of course, but he's about another 80 yards away after that, 180 away from breaking the all-time record yardage, in a single season by Michael Irvin. That's going to be tough to do it in the 16 games, which this will be the 16th game for the Cowboys. But he may do it in 2 games. He could get 90 and 90. I think he'll break that record, although it'll be with the extra game Michael Irvin never had. But either way, CeeDee Lamb is 179 yards, 180 yards away from the most receiving yards in a season by a Cowboy receiver. We'll see if he's able to do it in both games combined. But I will say this against the Lions. I just said that about their passing defense. Very weak their pass defense for the Lions. And, I think that's someplace we're going to be able to attack. And I think CeeDee Lamb gets over 100 yards this week. We just throw him the ball. He's going to get over 100 yards. I mean, I think Dak said in one of his quotes about, you think CeeDee Lamb will get it this week? He said basically easy. Like, easily he'll get the record this week for CeeDee Lamb's reception record. Let me put it that way. It's also worth mentioning that CeeDee Lamb is already over 1,500 scrimmage yards. Because you got to add some of those running plays as well he's had, right? He has 101 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So he's got over 10 touchdowns, or 11 touchdowns in the air and the ground combined, over 1,500 yards from scrimmage combined on the ground and the air. CeeDee Lamb is blowing up, obviously, doing his thing. So what did CeeDee Lamb say today, baby, after practice?
He said to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Now, remember, CeeDee Lamb was a little upset about maybe not getting all the looks, disappearing in the second and third quarter. He addressed this today.
Throwing out there, I just know what I can contribute to the team, what type of player I am. I worked hard to be in this position, as has everyone else on this team. Just putting myself in the best position to help the team. I like to win overall. It's not so much about the stat, it's whatever. The stat ends up being after the game, that's cool. But throughout the game, I'm not like, oh shit, I've got 100 yards. That's not it. I just like winning. Like, I really have an obsession with winning.
Oh, so it's a little Micah Parsons-ish. I hear what he's saying, though. He's not looking at the stats. He's looking at production. And when he's not involved, and he sees the scoreboard, we're down at halftime, we're down at, you know what I'm saying? He sees, why am I not getting production here to help the team win?
So, CeeDee Lamb obviously added in there as well, as far
as what defines, like, success for him.
I feel like regardless of whatever happens throughout the season, the good, the bad, or indifferent, if we continue to play and have a chance to win the Super Bowl, that's a successful season. I like winning a lot, and I'm going to say that again. I love winning a lot.
Well,
do you think that CeeDee Lamb likes to win?
If we don't get that first overall seed, which we won't, we need to win 6 games in a row to get number 6. So let's start winning a lot. Like 6 games in a row. Let's go.
And as far as the kind of final things that CeeDee Lamb said, he went out to say, quote, to go out there and fix the things that we need to fix. The mental mistakes and giving a lot more effort on certain plays and to catch a dub.
Oh, hey, fix the shit that's wrong
fix a dub,
you
like
get wins.
Catch a pass. Yeah. So, throwing out there as well, saying we've got to still go out there and play no matter what bed we wake up in, though. We still have to go out there every Sunday or Saturday and be the best us. It can be a successful season. We've come up short lately, but we're going to change that soon.
All right, a lot of talking. I want to see some action. Speaking of action, baby, let's get back on the defensive side of things because, hey, you know what? Today we're talking our defense versus the Lions offense. And who better than to speak about this upcoming matchup against the Detroit Lions than the Lion, Micah Parsons, superstar Micah Parsons. He was asked about these penalties, guys. There's a lot of this was on a penalty situation. Micah was asked about, if his being vocal about not getting holding calls has affected the way he's been officiated. What did he say about these missed penalties?
He said maybe. I definitely think it's a lot of biased things going on across the league on who they want to call things on and how they call it or when they call it. And that's been very biased. So, adding in there on, if the referees can maybe account for his speed when they're assessing some of those penalties. Like, can they actually take the Micah Parsons factor into account? Right? He had it in there. To be honest, and in the most humble way ever, I don't think that there's another rusher like me in the league. I don't think there's a rusher that wins as quick as I do. There's not another rusher that does the things that I do, and that's on tape. They put me on the same pedestal as other rushers, and we're just not all the same. I don't think they realize I'm 4.3 coming off the edge versus some dudes might be 4.4 or 4.5, whatever. I think the refs understand that I'm a good player, but they don't understand the actual plays I can make with my speed and what I can control.
Again, all facts coming from Micah. He's preaching to the choir, but unfortunately, he's still not getting. He got 2 penalties drawn against him this year for holding. That's just complete and utter bullshit. These are his best of last year. When you look at this year, I mean, these are 5 penalties that are not called in one game. Part of 38 or 36 quarter streak that he's on of not getting drawing an offensive penalty or an offensive holding call. That was hands to the face. But the other ones the other 4 are holding. Obvious holds. They did not draw any flags. Insane. What else did he say about these penalties?
It's been quite a while since he has drawn a flag, right? He said, yeah, it's been long. I can say I've been to the quarterback quite a lot in that time. It's definitely frustrating sometimes, but at the end of the day, I understand it comes with the territory. I'm not a flop guy. I'm not a guy that's going to fake it because I still believe I can make the play. A lot of plays get made above the 2.3 as far as, the average time it takes for Micah to get to the QB, right? He said, I'm going to keep moving forward. I think the NFL should have a long conversation this offseason. The film is out there. It's something they need to look at. A lot of these calls should be reviewable. These flags are game-changing flags, but it's an offensive league. They want to keep as much points on the board as possible and as many drives alive as possible. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you have to still play.
Yep, and there's nothing you can do about that. And then at the end of the day, that's where we're stuck with. We're stuck with, have to deal with it. Hopefully the refs will change it up one day. They'll get used to the Micah Parsons factor. But right now, obviously, the referees are steps behind the stuff that Micah Parsons does.
Definitely feels very much like a daily and a dollar short.
Yeah, I mean, big time. So, yeah, guys, right there. I do want to hit up the chat real quick and find out what anybody's thoughts are here before we dive deep on this Lions offense and how we can slow them down. That's going to be more for the matchup, more for the must-win matchups for Friday.
No, but Mike Adana said, the refs don't give a shit, Micah. James Hurst said, just shut the fuck up. Lead your defense, not your mouth to the media.
Well, he can't, again, he definitely can't help himself about the flags. They're going to ask him about these flags not getting called. Everyone sees it, and he's upset about it. But yeah, he said it himself, though. He's trying to overcome it. It's hard to do when they're not throwing any flags at all. 2 of them the whole year for drawing penalties.
Seabass said it. They'll never respect him or give him the accreditation.
That's what you said it, baby. It's Shaq syndrome.
Yep. So he's suffering from success there.
And his ability.
Let me see. As James Hurst said, when it's contract time, a guy with stats gets paid more than a guy that wins.
That's true too.
And that's why that's why some positions just aren't as quote unquote sexy, just because even when they are doing really well, you don't see it in as much of a tangible numbers type of way. It's a lot of intangibles in a lot of ways. So, Lions fixing to get handled. Asmodeus, I would love that. I would love that.
Well, you see them handled here in this picture. I'm going to say this here. As far as injuries, we talked about our injury report. The Lions have an injury report. As you can see, this Lion injured here. Not our Micah. Their Lion. Their second injury report, Taylor Decker. Their starting left tackle. Downgraded today. Just like you saw with Rico Dowdle. Mm-hmm. He was downgraded from limited to now he did not practice. That's not a good trajectory for their starting left tackle, which could make an issue for the Lions and a very good offensive line they do have. So other guys basically were the same. Full practice, Derek Barnes, linebacker. Full practice, Jerry Jacobs, cornerback. Frank Ragnow, center. Penei Sewell, full practice. So they're all good to go. Limited guys are a fullback who's still on the injured list. Jason Cabinda with a knee injury, limited today. C.J. Gardner-Johnson also on the injured list on that 21-day window. Pectoral muscle injury, limited today. So not sure if he's going to get, but neither of those guys are going to be back on that field. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson, good player. Doesn't look like he's going to play for the Lions this week. And then the only other guy, of course, like I said, 2 guys didn't practice. Brock Wright, tight end with the hip injury. He was out yesterday. He's one of the one of the later depth tight end. But their starting left tackle, Taylor Decker, who was limited yesterday with the groin, downgraded. Big thing to watch for on that offensive line, for a very good offensive line. We're going to talk about these Lions right now. You got to look at the breakdown. And Jared Goff, all right, let's just go right to this fucking Lions offense. And you look at Jared Goff, number 16, is having a very interesting season. The Lions are having a big year. They won 11 games so far, one more than us. Last week they beat the Vikings. Goff made 40 pass attempts and only threw for 1 touchdown. So he's throwing a lot, but only had 1 touchdown throw. Goff currently ranks 3rd in the NFL in passing touchdowns and 3rd in the NFL in passing yards. He also has 10 interceptions thrown this year. The stats, when I look at Goff and I look at the passing game, baby, I mean, him or the passing offense for them, they rank 5th in the NFL in passing yardage. They're throwing for about an average of 253 yards per game, the Lions. So they're going to push us a little bit when it comes to their passing game against our defense, and which again, can we get to the quarterback? Can we get pressure on Goff? We talked about it yesterday, how much his numbers, how badly he showed he's a top 10 quarterback when he's not pressured. When he's pressured, he's a 20 or lower, a 20th or worse quarterback in the NFL. So when he's pressured. So similar to Tua, it's a big drop-off for them. But he does get a lot of passing yards, 3,795 passing yards. They're ranked 5th in passing yards. He doesn't run at all. I mean, he has like a yard a game, basically, average for Goff. So you get pressure on Goff. You're going to come on, Quinn. You got to find a way. But their real danger lies in the running game. Number 5 and number 26 over there, guys. Both these guys, when it comes to rushing, the Lions are 3rd best in the NFL, with averaging 141.1 rushing yards per game. As an offense, they scored 27.5 points per game. That is also, we're number 1, they're 5th. They're 5th best here when it comes to scoring points, an average of 27.5 points per game. With that passing game of Goff, seems like most of the stuff they get those on the ground. Let's talk about these running backs, because the running back position for the Lions has been one of the main factors for their success this year. Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie, number 26. Then you got Montgomery, all right, the older kind of school, formerly of the Bears, by the way. They combined for 20 rushing touchdowns, between the both of them, and over 1,700 rushing yards between the both of them. As I said yesterday, Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie, 872 yards. Montgomery, 920 yards. They're both going to crack 1,000 this year. So they are a running team first in a way. They are a rush-heavy team. They get the yardage. Only the Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears have rushed as a team for more yards. And, the main reason there, I'm going to name you the 2 quarterbacks there. Lamar Jackson, who adds rushing to the mix. And, of course, Justin Fields, who adds rushing to the mix. They get a lot of rushing yards from their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The Lions get 21 yards all year from Jared Goff.
Yeah, so he's not exactly going to be out there being very mobile.
But that's my point, though. It's about the running backs on this team are maybe the most dangerous in the NFL, because the other 2 use quarterbacks. They only use running backs. So the problem that this creates for the Cowboys is that fact that the Cowboy run defense is one of our huge weaknesses, of course. So this plays, like I said about our offense versus their pass defense, which we'll talk about more tomorrow. That plays into our hands. This plays into the Detroit Lions run game hands against our biggest weakness, which is the run defense. The Lions can just pound the rock. If they find they have any success, we're in trouble. Cowboys, we just faced Miami and the Bills. They ran all over us. And again, the Dolphins averaged 5 yards per rush attempt. The Detroit Lions, they average on throughout the year, not just in one game. The Dolphins average 5 yards against us on the ground. They average 4.7 yards in the season, the Detroit Lions. That is very scary. One of the best rushing teams in the NFL. So we're going to have to, Dan Quinn, I see you right back there. You and this defense got to come up a way with stopping and slowing down these 2 running backs. Now, you look at our running backs, right? We are struggling. We've totaled 2 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks on the ground. The Detroit running backs scored 3 touchdowns just in last week's game alone. So in 1 week, the last week, they had 3 touchdowns. We have 2. Well, we have 2 in the last 4 weeks, rushing touchdowns. We're in trouble on the ground compared to this team. Now, you see Amon St. Brown over there. Amon-Ra, I should say. Amon-Ra St. Brown, right there, number 14. He's their key wide receiver. Not tall, very fast. Short, very fast, very tricky, very hard to get. And he's their key receiving threat. He's having a very solid season. He's the 5th receiver when it comes to receiving yards. With 1,281 receiving yards, he's also 5th in receiving touchdowns. And maybe most importantly, he's 5th in yards after the catch. So our guys, if he catches the ball, we got to slow him down. We got to stop him. He will break it, and he will be gone. He is very good at yards after catch. Number 14, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So don't forget those things. Very important. We got to find a guy that can be able to stay on this very slippery and fast player. So he's got a lot of the numbers here, tops in the league a definite threat for in this offense. And then you got Josh Reynolds, the number 2 receiver, has 551 yards, but he's also third on the team in receiving yards. While Jamison Williams, again, I think trying to in his second season, this guy had a high upside, struggling to make an impact this year. Again, he's eclipsed 50 yards receiving in only 2 games this year. So their receivers, after Amon-Ra St. Brown, drop off some, for sure. Josh Reynolds, who's dangerous at times. I know he hurt us, when he was with, I forgot which team. He hurt us on another team. Was it the Packers? I don't remember, but he hurt us. And I know that Jamison Williams has the ability to hurt us. He just hasn't shown it this year at all. So that's the way their receiving core looks like. I will say their biggest, by far, receiving threat outside of someone like Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground, getting it out the backfield, catches out the backfield. To me, Amon-Ra St. Brown is obviously a formidable threat. Should get a lot of attention from the Cowboys secondary. That means that guys like Gilmore, Bland, Jordan Lewis, and others are going to have to slow him down. Of course, we'll talk about tomorrow, CeeDee Lamb. And, against kind of, you got to look at, basically what I'm trying to say is this. The way the Lions are going to have to treat CeeDee Lamb tomorrow, Cowboys, not tomorrow, but the way the way that the Lions have to treat CeeDee Lamb with their defense, knowing that he's their superstar, we have to look at Amon-Ra St. Brown in the same way as they look at CeeDee Lamb. That's how important this guy is to slow down. So, again, the one good thing we got, the one good thing about us, so for them, they got the fucking 23rd highest, best pass defense. They're pretty shitty against the pass. We are top 5 against the pass. So that's the hope. We can slow down their passing game somewhat. Amon St. Brown and all these guys. We can slow these guys down somewhat more than they can slow us down. That's the hope. This is a passing game. But if they run, they don't have to pass the ball too much. They're gonna hurt us on the ground. And again, you look at tight ends. This guy, one of the tight ends the Cowboys were interested in, Sam LaPorta, having a huge rookie season. No surprise that this young tight end is having a good season coming from out of Iowa. His route running skills and reliable hands is what stood out this year for them at the tight end position. He's a rookie standout. He's 5th among all tight ends in both catches and in receiving yards. And he also leads the tight end position with 9 touchdowns this year. So the Cowboys have allowed 0 touchdowns by the tight end this year. This guy on his own is the number 1 tight end receiver in the league when it comes to touchdowns. So, and he's also top 5 in catches and in yards. So he's a rookie, but this rookie is fucking dangerous in this offense. So again, Sam LaPorta, rookie, guy we were looking at, looking really good over there in Detroit. And also, the biggest issue with LaPorta is not in the catching side or the touchdowns or the receptions or anything like that. It's in the blocking side. This is where his weakness comes in. He has an issue with blocking. He's a big receiving option and ranks 2nd on the team in receiving yards. Again, only behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. The next guy up is Sam LaPorta when it comes to receiving yards. Their tight end, a rookie tight end. But that's due to his speed and his burst. He has a very little power and very little play strength as a blocker. So the strength, the power is limited when it comes to blocking. So the Cowboys can definitely maybe affect the run game through this rookie tight end with guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, who's one of the best edge setters and run stoppers in the NFL. They will be battling each other, a big matchup to watch there. So again, when you look at him as a blocker, he gets handled very easily, especially when used as that extra blocker at the end. So you might see Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence just tearing through there, through LaPorta. And again, he's way behind the grade as a blocker, pass blocker, mainly as a run blocker. But as a rookie, these things take time. And as a rookie, he's got the power when it comes to receiving, catching the ball, getting the ball thrown to him, receiving yards and touchdowns from the tight end position. Very dangerous player. That's why we'll probably look at this weekend as well on Friday. A lot of J-Ron Curse in this game of importance. A lot of importance there from J-Ron Curse this week to slow down Sam LaPorta. The last part of the offense of this Lions team, the offensive line, which is where really everything's going to be kind of made or broken. And their offensive line, top 5 in pass protection. I'm just trying to read the facts, guys. These are the facts. top 5 in pass protection. They've been extremely efficient this year, allowing the 5th fewest sacks in the NFL. They've also proven to be one of the most proficient run-blocking units of all offensive lines this season. Starting with Penei Sewell, tackle, who's only allowed 1 sack this year, but his run blocking has been some of the best in the league. Frank Ragnow at center has not allowed a single sack this season. He's also been fantastic in run blocking. The one tactic that you maybe can, that maybe is a question mark for the Lions and how they can handle things will be one guy, and one guy only. And I think we all know his name already, and you know how you got to unleash him out there. Can't waste him you cannot waste him at linebacker, guys. We got to make sure we utilize the great Micah Parsons in the mix. And Micah Parsons can be the guy that really throws their offensive line in a little bit of a tizzy. Because Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, and Taylor, who, by the way, is going to be downgraded to out now, all have questions on their availability this weekend. Now, Penei Sewell and Ragnow will play. They might not be 100%, but can Micah really wreck shit? Can Dan Quinn please move him around on that offensive line? I mean, all over the defensive line, so the offensive line has to kind of retarget him and not get used to where he's going to be. They got a guy that might be missing this game at tackle, left tackle starter. Taylor, why don't you just attack the backup with Micah Parsons a lot? So Micah Parsons is going to be a factor in this game against a fantastic offensive line. So from what you're seeing, guys, again, what we've all seen and what we all know, Penei Sewell's been upgraded to full practice. So he has the best chance to play out of these 3 guys. And you're seeing Ragnow, probably the second best chance. I think he'll play. But yeah, it sounds to me like Taylor is not going to play. So those injuries, those guys, 1 or 2 guys missing, but definitely they're all banged up. Along with the Micah Parsons factor, that's going to be an interesting test for the Cowboys defense and also for the Lions offense and their offensive line. If we are able to win some of this trench battle here, I mean, you slow down the run, you get pressure on Goff. Goff gets pressure, he does poorly. And then you see our pass defense play better because they got to throw a lot more. They got to attack more through the air, which would be playing into our hands. So, again, you guys feel me on this? Micah is a big key. Dan Quinn's a big key on how we handle this Lions team going forward. On offense for them, they got some weapons for sure. They also have a couple little issues in there that you can definitely take advantage of if you're the Cowboys. I hope I broke down everything as clearly as possible for the family in the chat. The 50+, hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and X and all that good stuff at MyCowboysFamily. Checking out that MCF After Dark. And you guys got to find that on your own. And other things here, guys, that we do on the nightly on MyCowboysFamily. So, baby, any quick comments or thoughts on this Lions offense from you or the chat?
Oh, yeah. Asmodeus said, protect Dak, catch the ball, sound tackling, minimum penalties, and no turnovers. We win this game.
You're hearing a lot of the things that we haven't even touched on yet there, because tomorrow we'll talk about the offense and we kind of have turnovers. It would be nice to get some turnovers against this team, and sacks. But I'm just giving it real. They are a very good pass protection team, a very good run blocking team. It's all about the magic of Micah. And can Dan Quinn and Micah cook up something on that field that can, give them some trouble, slow them down, just slow them down a little bit. That's the hope, because we can pass in the air against this defense. Yeah, limit those turnovers. And attack the weaknesses, especially if they got injury weaknesses on the offensive line. Attack them, right, baby?
So, let me kind of roll back a little bit here. Jumps and Cowboys also threw out there. We're favored by 6, which is deceptive. If we can't contain the run, we're fucked again this week.
That is true. That is very, very true. The run game, stopping the run game, those 2 guys, almost 2,000 yards between them by the end of the year. It should be over 2,000 between them. That's going to be tough. I hope we can make it so that we slow down that 2,000 yards, and maybe they don't get it between both running backs, 1,000 apiece.
So Mike Aldana saying LaPorta sounds like Schultz.
A little bit, but I would say as a rookie, a lot better than Schultz.
Thomas Garrett throwing out there saying Brown is pesky.
Yeah, he's tough to corral. He's quick, he's fast, he can create problems for this Cowboy defense. I'm thinking Jordan Lewis will be watching him a lot in this game.
Drums and Cowboys also saying, this will be the heaviest dose of run that we're going to see. We need this to keep the pressure on the Eagles, but mostly to go into the playoffs with momentum. I
mean, we might never see the team we need to see without getting this win, right? We have to try to at least keep trying for that second seed to get that home field. And again, first 2 rounds, basically, and then getting the Niners. To me, that's the team we got to look at to really beat and got to worry about when it comes to them running. Although, the Lions, to me, they are probably going to be the all-around toughest combined running back team in the NFL we're going to face this year. But the Niners, they just keep pounding you with McCaffrey. But, yeah, I think there's going to be a very big challenge for the Cowboys, win or lose, and a tough game all around for the Cowboys. But controlling that line of scrimmage against a good top 5 offensive line, that's going to really tell us how good our defense can be or not going forward here.
Let me see here. Pioneer said, Mozzie has to, at a minimum, grab the carpet and don't get driven.
Mozzie got to get off faster.
So, let me see here. We kind of touched on most of the general comments here. I don't want to, repeat myself here. So, respect for the Lions. Hey, it would be much easier to say the Lions are their usual typical scrubby selves, but they're out there doing shit that we didn't even manage to do this year. So, how are we going to be haters from outside the club?
No, listen, we try to be honest, and the Lions going to be tough. Like I said, LaPorta, blocking weakness. They got some injuries on the offensive line, especially at left tackle, weakness. They never really faced a defensive line like us, so that's something they're going to have to see if they can handle. And like I said, you get a little pressure on Goff. You end up making him look a lot worse. Those turnovers, those interceptions, all that stuff becomes, stacking each other. Now we got to somehow stop the run, which is going to be our biggest issue. We don't have Hankins. We're in big trouble there stopping the run. But the only way you can really get them away from the run is by the offense having to score points. And we'll talk about that tomorrow against a defense for the Lions that are solid. But then stopping the run, they're fantastic. They got a good pass rusher too, but they have problems defending the pass. And that is the key for the Cowboys to stay in a game where we got to actually put up some points against this defense at home. We could put up a lot of points. And the defense gonna have a little bit of trouble sometimes maybe stopping the Detroit Lions, especially in the ground game, which to me is going to be the biggest fear in this game. And then if they get running, and we don't get pressure on Goff for whatever the crazy-ass reason, then they're going to hit St. Brown and other guys back there. That's going to hurt us throughout the game. Keep these drives alive. It's kind of like Tyreek Hill did against us with the Dolphins. Those little quick passes, little screens, and we use our aggressive, speed to overrun plays, and then boom, first down when they matter. So it's going to be an interesting battle versus their offense versus our defense. But tomorrow we're going to take a look at our offense versus the Lions' defense. And even though, again, they got some really good players like Hutchinson, they have some weaknesses in that secondary. And we should, at home, especially, hey, I'm saying it, I don't care how good a team is or not, at home, we play 10 times better. So at home, we should be putting up points against the Lions' defense. And we'll talk much more about that tomorrow. So let's get those last shout-outs, baby, and let's call it a wrap here on My Cowboys Family for tonight.
Let me see. We have, of course, Bastard, Mike Aldana, much love. James Herr, Pioneer, Snug X, the Cash App King.
Yeah.
We have Jason Renfro, much love, the Stream Boss right now.
Yeah, 95 points for Mr. Stream Boss Jason Renfro. Sponsor of the week is Mr. Mark Hovsepian. And as you said, baby, Snug X. He's the Cash App King. Don't forget the Gifting King. 2 weeks in a row. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Much love to him. He's trying to go for a three-peat because he's got the lead right now over Jason Renfro on there. He's also got the overall lead on Jason Renfro. So Jason's coming for that Stream Boss. Jason in second place on the other two boards. So the battle is on, like Donkey Kong. And Jason's in second place as well when it comes to the Cash App side because the leader is currently Marissa Sparkle. She's sparkling as the top spot there. Trying to go for that queen crown and get that back from Mr. Snug X. We'll see what happens. Marissa Sparkle currently in first place on the Cash App board. Just wanted to throw that out there, baby, for everyone to be kind of caught up on and on the same page. Continue your shout-outs. I think you were at Snug X.
Actually, I was at Drums and Cowboys. But Asmodeus in the house. We have James Herr, Mike Aldana, Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett. Rolling back here a little bit. Lost in Translation podcast, much love. I think we all miss Diggs. Desperately.
Big time.
So, let me see here.
Bastard saying that he's scared of CeeDee. And if he's in the slot, you should be, he's going to be a big problem for you guys in this game. And we're going to look at that a little more tomorrow. And then on Friday, we're going to give the breakdown of some key matchups the Cowboys must win. Of course, just reverse that. And that's what the Lions got to do to win as well. So it's all there. It's all here. It's all written.
Yeah. Let me see. We have Hayes in the house. House Nelson in the house. Hood Patriot, much love. C. Bass representing. Let's see. Jason Renfro, Mike Aldana, much love. I think I already shouted you both out, but just in case.
Bonus.
Griff 181. Antoine Scott. MB. Pioneer. You come back down. Yeah, I think that's everybody here so far, baby. Again, huge and extra special shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us.
Yeah,
my love.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out the people that dropped the love here over today's span. Marissa, Sparkle, Motor City Maniac, Wirelight game, Soft Games. You got Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Skeptical, fan staying skeptical. Jason Renfro in the house. Calvin Richard and Zach Luna. Thank you all for rocking with us here. And baby, here on My Cowboys Family. We do this every single night for the last 6+ years. Why do we do this on My Cowboys Family every night?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Oh yeah. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here on MCF. We always rep that star over everything. And don't forget, guys, yes, 6 years and beyond on YouTube. We're almost at exactly 6.5 years and beyond on YouTube, guys. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all in the chat for dropping the knowledge all night long, all night. We like to learn. We hope you all learn with us as we get ready for this big game against the Detroit Lions on Saturday night. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge. But, of course, truly appreciate your drops of love from above, whether it's the Cash App, Super Chats, whatever it is, memberships, gifted, all that stuff. Truly, can't do this without your guys' love and support. On that note, as we clock out and drop out of here for the night, baby, we relock and reload tomorrow talking about their little D. And maybe that pass defense, right? Versus our Cowboys Texas Toast offense. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it much more tomorrow. Join us for that, baby. Before we can officially drop out and clock out for the night, what do we got to do before we get on out of here and drop out of here for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, hell yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap here. My Cowboys Family, another one in the books. And we appreciate everybody truly joining us here for the stream, from the beginning to the end. If you're watching us on a replay, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Again, thank you all for making this another great show. And another wrap here on this side of things when it comes to our Cowboys chat right here at My Cowboys Family. Hell yeah. Hey, by the way, I put them on these. There's a reason they're in these uniforms for the Cowboys. Of course, Rashaan Evans will probably be in our navy blues. Those are the throwbacks there. But we're going to be in our dark navy blues right there while the Lions going to be in their white. So we'll see how that looks on the field at home for the Cowboys, which we rarely wear those uniforms at home. So, hey, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good one. A great test for both teams. It's always that star over everything right here in MCF where it's about that navy blue, that silver too. And yes, I'll say it again, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house joining us for the show. Don't forget, again, to hit that like button if you haven't yet for the stream. Hit subscribe for the channel. Hey, we're almost at 30,000 family members. Hit that notification bell to all videos so you know we're going live. And, of course, other ways to know we're going live on Discord. Join there. And, of course, any social media, Twitter, X, at My Cowboys Family. Guys, have a good rest of your night. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another one. Peace out. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!
on the beat.